In the 60s, hallucinogenic drugs were finding their way into mainstream society, and that type of drug use hasn't gone away, and unfortunately, a new psychoactive drug is turning up on the streets. It's called Molly, and it's addictive and dangerous. Joining me now with more is Ed O'Reilly from the Neil Kennedy Recovery Clinic in Dublin. It's nice to have you here.
Nice to be here, Gail.
Molly is a strange name for an addictive drug. What does it mean?
It is a kind of a cute name, actually, and I think intentionally. It stands for molecule. It's short for molecule, and the idea is it's not a new drug. It's MDMA, which has been around for decades, and it used to be more popularly known as ecstasy.
Okay, so it's the same thing, same properties?
It's the same thing, actually. The concept was that after a while, the ecstasy that people were getting in dance clubs and places like that had a lot of impurities in it and other strange drugs that were in it that weren't really MDMA. And the idea was, and my opinion would be, this is actually a marketing move.
It's not that funny.
Is to say, well, we've got pure MDMA. It's the real molecule, thus Molly. And it's supposed to be better MDMA. It's basically the same thing as was in ecstasy.
It sounds scary.
Well, it can be. The issue actually is in its pure form. If you take a lot, it will tend to raise the blood pressure, increase body temperature, and in high doses it can induce seizures. Okay? But the main problem actually is you hardly ever get it in its pure form. Okay? Because the difference between ecstasy came in pressed tablets. Molly is typically available in a white powder, and here's the problem. It could be anything. Okay? White powder is okay. I mean, it could be anything, and you know, not to put too fine a point on it, but drug dealers are not exactly known for quality control. Okay?
So you don't know what you're getting, and you
absolutely
think
don't.
Not that it's good what you think you're getting anyway, but this could be even worse.
Yes, absolutely, because the other things that you could be getting are cheaper and easier to make than MDMA is. Okay, like methamphetamine, for example, very common. In there. The synthetic THC that's probably better known as bath salts, okay, that could be in there. Very commonly, it's a strange little mixture of very dangerous drugs.
And none of this stuff is good. What are you seeing at the Neil Recovery Clinic? I mean, are you seeing this in Central Ohio? Is it an issue, a problem?
We're definitely seeing it. Okay, now we don't see it very often sort of freestanding. Usually if people come in, if they're taking any Molly or any ecstasy, they're also taking other things. It's like they're drinking large amounts of alcohol, smoking a lot of marijuana, something like that. Also prescription opiates tend to be a much bigger problem than the Molly, but it is here. I would say in particular if you have young people who tend to frequent electronic dance music festivals. Okay, what they used to call raves, but my understanding is they don't call them that anymore because it's passé. But large electronic dance music festivals tend to be, that's what's been in the news lately. A couple of people died.
Yes.
The Molly was implicated in that. Now, we still don't know whether it was like pure MDMA or whether it was just, in essence, garbage mystery drugs. But that would be something to be careful about if you were had somebody in that profile.
You always have to keep an eye out for what is new and what you are seeing on the streets.
You do.
It keeps changing.
You do. And in particular, if they come up with a new name for what's basically an old substance, it's a good idea to know what they're talking about when they use that.
You mentioned that people are often addicted to other things, and that brings them to your clinic. And I wanted to point out that, yes, you do take care of all kinds of different addictions for folks and all ages. We
do. Unfortunately, it's pretty well spread across the age spectrum.
And I'm not just talking about Molly, but if there are parents out there, and that's usually who can spot something wrong with a teenager, and it might be Molly, I mean, if they like dance clubs, what should they look for?
Well, the Molly specifically, one of the side effects of going out to like an all-night dance party or something and doing Molly is people will be fairly depressed afterwards. Okay?
So a downer then all of a
Yes,
sudden.
and it's pretty well known actually among people who use it is you're going to have like a down Monday and you're going to be very depressed. In particular, if they use it for like all night and take multiple doses in a row, it basically burns up the neurotransmitters, and so when it wears off, you're like very down. Okay, and that would be something to look for.
We have had your number up there and ways for people to get in contact with you at the Neil Kennedy Recovery Clinic, so we hope people do if they find that a loved one, someone in their family needs your help. Thank you.
Thank you, Gail.